The following is an exclusive presentation of Jesup Broadcasting, the sports leader in Southeast Georgia.
World famous. The world famous Butch and Bob Show.
Good morning. You're listening to the Big Dog, WIFO FM in Jesup, 105.5 on your FM dial. It is a Monday morning, the very first day of July. Butch Hubbard here with you, along Bob Morgan. It's now time for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, brought to you by Murphy Builder Supply, located on Northeast Broad Street in downtown Jesup, the Women's Health Center in downtown Jesup on Chariot Broad, and by a brand new sponsor here on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, Nips Car Wash, located on Highway 301 South, right down from McDonald's on the left-hand side there. Brian Nipper, the Honorable Mayor of Odom, is now opened up a car wash called Nips Car Wash. And go by and check it out. It's right down there from McDonald's on the left-hand side, going down 301 South here in Jesup. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Good.
Isn't it good to have old Brian Nipper be a sponsor here on the Butch and Bob Show?
The mayor of Odom.
The mayor of Odom. Got that new IQ car wash automatic system down there that scans your vehicle to make sure it gets washed just perfectly by the automatic system. Plus, they have a couple of self-serve bays that has all the features to it, too. So go by and check it out. Affordable car wash there at Nips Car Wash on Highway 301 South, just past McDonald's on the left-hand side. Well, Bob, we had a special world-famous Butch and Bob show on Friday, another one here on Monday.
Yep, Chuck Mosley announced his candidacy for sheriff on Friday, and today we have another candidate. So we'll let him introduce himself and tell us his announcement.
Hey, good morning. My name is Paul Drawdy, and I'm here to announce my candidacy for the sheriff of Wayne County in the 2020 election coming up next year.
There's two, and John swears he's running, so these people not believe him? Or
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know. I believe he says he is, so I believe he's running. But I was a little bit about my background. I'm married to Vicki Long from Scriven, and I've got two daughters, Leslie and Jay. Leslie's a senior at UGA this year, and Jay's a sophomore at Georgia College in Milledgeville. And anyway, I started off. Born and raised in Jesup, graduated from Wayne County High, and my senior year in high school, I had entered the delayed entry program for the United States Marine Corps, and so I went off and did that for 4 years. And after I was honorably discharged, I came back home, and I really wasn't sure what I wanted to get into. And my brother Victor Drawdy had a real good friend, Steve Strickland, who was a Georgia State patrolman. And he was talking to me about that, and I was like, I don't know if I want to get into law enforcement. And he goes, well, I'll tell you what. He said, Glenn County's hiring, Glenn County Police Department. He said, why don't you go down there, see about getting on with them, and just see if you like it. And I did that and just absolutely fell in love with law enforcement. Had a great time. In the Marine Corps, we used to call it, being a hard charger, and especially as a young man at that time I was. And so after about a year, I was qualified and started serving on their special weapons and tactics team. I was part of their DUI task force, their speed enforcement. I was tasked with 2 presidential motorcades for Bush 41. Got to serve with the Secret Service and ride with those folks in that. And then I was promoted to corporal and transferred over to the Glen Metro Drug Squad, which was a task force developed in Brunswick with 5 county officers, 5 city officers. I served on it for 2 years. Was then tasked with starting up Glenn County's bike patrol team, which served in the high crime areas. After that, I met my lovely wife, and we got married and moved back to Wayne County, and I was serving as the chief of police in Scriven, Georgia. And I've always kind of had an entrepreneurial mindset, and so was always looking for other things to do. And a friend of mine since first grade, Glenn Bruton, and I started buying rental property. And I was transitioning from the city police department in Scriven and actually worked a year with a narcotics unit at the Wayne County Sheriff's Office when it finally got to the point that our side business had grown so much that I had to take on full-time responsibilities with it. So I kind of got out of law enforcement for a while. But the ability to do those type things gave me a lot of different opportunities. As we were talking earlier, Bob, I served 2 terms on the school board from District 2 from the Scriven area. Also was able to serve as executive director for the Boys and Girls Club for a year while they were kind of going through a transition period, looking for a permanent executive director. In 2008, I went to work with a federal security contractor out at FLETC and did that part-time to about 2017. We sold one of our larger properties, and that's kind of put me in a semi-retirement position where I've got a lot of free time on my hand now, but I still get up every morning and go to work. We've still got some rental property that we deal with and stuff, and it kind of boils down to, it seems like in the last few years some issues have come up with the Sheriff's Department, and I would just like to see, personally, the Sheriff's Department go in a different direction as far as, I get the sense sometimes that it's more of a reactive department versus being proactive. And what I mean by that is, it's easy, and I know from my law enforcement days, it's easy to become overwhelmed and just start answering calls for service. And I think what the culture needs to be more of is that proactive type policing where, I ride by your house and I see something kind of strange going on, get out and check it out and, talk to some folks. And if they've got a reasonable explanation for what's going on in your front yard, well, then fine, you just keep moving on. Otherwise, you kind of do what you need to do from there. But anyway, so that's the main thing. And I guess we're going to get into a few issues or what my main concerns are in reference to the Sheriff's Department. And crime is my biggest one. Drugs being at the top of that list. I mean, I don't have to tell y'all because y'all report the news every single day. And it seems like that from the drug standpoint, there's so many crimes that flow from that. Everything from robbery to theft, domestic violence. I mean, even animal cruelty. I mean, it's typically around a guy or girl either being high at the time or looking to score drugs, one of the two. Can we ever wipe out drugs? No, but I think we can really put a dent in it. I've been involved, obviously, in narcotics work in the past, and I know what needs to be done to really bring that down to at least some type of manageable level, I believe.
Like I said, it's over a year away, the election, but Chuck was here Friday. You're here today because it's a big county. It's going to take money to run for sheriff, so that's why both of y'all are announcing early to make sure you get your name out there and get your campaigns underway. So I asked Chuck, I'll ask you, it's hard to beat an incumbent sheriff. John's been in there, this is his fourth term. He said he's running for his fifth term, so how do you beat the incumbent sheriff?
Well, listen, it's going to be hard, and you're absolutely right. That's all part of Chuck announcing early and myself doing the same thing. I think that it's going to be a lot of work, but probably the biggest issue is just getting out there and being able to articulate a vision for the Sheriff's Department that's going to be somewhat different than what it is now. And but I mean, it's honestly just talking to folks, getting your message out there, and letting them understand and letting them make a choice. I mean, they'll have an option to either just continue with what we're doing or maybe, make a change in directions. It's really up to, and I'm one of those guys. I love talking to folks. And if you decide to vote for somebody else, well, that's fine. I understand that because obviously I have my own preference in candidates as well. So it's going to be a lot of work, but I'm up for it. I like the challenge.
I saw Chuck in Scriven 4th of July. He says y'all were friends, though.
Oh, yeah.
And will you be running on the Republican ticket as well?
I will be.
So that's another thing. John will be running as a Republican. Chuck will be running as a Republican. And so there's other candidates involved as well. So it's going to be a interesting race with most of the candidates on the Republican ticket. I think there's going to be one candidate on the Democratic ticket. So he kind of stays till November of 2020. So
yeah, I really think, my personal opinion is that the election is pretty much going to be settled during that primary with as many folks as running, even with us three running. Let's say nobody else gets in the race and it's just us three on the Republican side. I mean, I
think it'll be a good turnout because the presidential race will be as well. So you'll have a good turnout for sure.
And I think it'll end up in a runoff. I believe with that many, with at least three of us, and I know Toby Cameron's out there, and he may or may not run. I haven't heard that he is, but if he does, and that puts four of us in the race, well, then I'm sure there's definitely going to be a runoff. I obviously hope to be in that runoff. And going back to Chuck, I mean, look, Chuck's a great guy. I like him a lot, but I guarantee you, the same way Chuck feels, that I can do a better job. I'm sure it's the same way John feels. If he runs, that's why he's running. It's because he feels like he can do a better job. So I think that's what it boils down to.
Well, like I told you, I remember you being on the school board, so I didn't realize you had all this law enforcement experience. So when you go out and campaign, though, what's going to be your message? Why should they pick Paul Drawdy for sheriff?
I think, just like when I talked about before in reference to the drug and the crime issues in Wayne County and just how you approach those. From talking to different individuals and some of the, the higher profile cases that's been in the news lately, I get the sense from talking to people, and then also I kind of feel it myself from my experience in law enforcement, that it is a matter of the sheriff's department just reacting versus being proactive and getting out and kind of trying to nip issues in the bud before they actually start. That and the budget is obviously a big issue as well right now in Wayne County. I look forward to actually working with the county commissioners and the county administrator to set a budget for the sheriff's office that's strong. I know, my understanding is the sheriff's overtime budget somewhere around $500,000. And I know you can't avoid overtime, but when I look at, if you think about it, or the way I see it is, I think the city of Jesup is somewhere around $50,000 in overtime this past year. Now, obviously, the county is larger than the city. If we use round numbers and just figure, okay, Wayne County's around 30,000 population, the city's got about 10. So you definitely would expect the county overtime to be twice as much as the cities. But of course, the county has the jail to administer, and they've got the courts to administer, so they're even going to have more than that. But I mean, as it stands, it's almost 10 times as much, and that just seems a little excessive to me. So, working with the commissioners and working with the administrator to really tighten that budget up to help them get through this financial crunch, that's going to be another issue that I want to talk to the voters about.
Butch says we'll never see it, but I keep on pushing consolidation. If consolidate law enforcement, consolidate everything, you save money. But I don't know why. When I go out and talk to people, they're starting to get that push. There's a lot of people that are starting to jump on that bandwagon, saying that, talking about saving money. What's your thoughts on consolidating law enforcement?
Well, this may be a little bit unpopular in the law enforcement community, but here's my exact thoughts on that. I work with Glenn County PD. In Glenn County, there's 3 agencies. You've got Glenn County Police Department, the City of Brunswick, and the Sheriff's Department. Now, years ago, for whatever reason, they were one of only like 5 counties when I worked there in Georgia that had a county police department. The sheriff's office is obviously a constitutional office, so you're going to have the sheriff, no matter what you decide to do, if you want to consolidate, that position is going to be there, and they would then obviously administer the court system and the jails. I think it was in, God, I'm just going off memory here, somewhere around 96, 97 maybe, that the issue was pretty much pushed hard in Wayne County then in reference to developing or consolidating law enforcement. At the time, the numbers I saw, I just didn't see it being a real large savings. You know what I'm saying? Not enough to actually justify doing it. But here's the thing. Look, I'm the type guy, I honestly believe that I don't care who gets the credit as long as we can work towards something that's going to be successful. And if I was to win the election, and I'm the sheriff at the time, and they could bring a plan together saying, hey, let's consolidate law enforcement. Well, I mean, I don't care if it's under the city. I don't care if it's a county police department or whatever. If it'll save taxpayers' money, I'm all for it. I'll do it.
You mentioned cost. One thing I don't think people realize when you look at the law enforcement, the one cost is the court system. Especially, not this year, but the last 2 years, there's been several murder cases that have been tried, and those are very expensive to a county such as Wayne. I mean, the court cost for a murder trial is just astronomical. So I don't know how you until people stop shooting people and murder stop happening.
That's right.
I mean, but that's something that that's out of the control of the sheriff. I mean, the sheriff has no control about that. But
no, absolutely, and I agree. I mean, look, you would try to budget for those kind of contingencies, but I mean, honestly, if you have in Wayne County, if you have one murder a year, I mean, that's still very sad, but you know, that's maybe something you can plan for when you look at your overall statistics. But you know, what was it? A few years back, we had several murders, and you can't plan for stuff like that, especially if you get an epidemic of drugs during a certain time period of whatever, and just you know, you can't control that type of violence, and when it happens, you know, the sheriff's office has to deal with that court system.
I asked Chuck when he was here Friday, I'll ask you, like I said, the sheriff has to have a chief deputy. Have anybody in mind who your chief deputy would be? No.
No, I haven't. Look, y'all may be familiar with, you know, James Collins years ago wrote that book, Good to Great. And a lot of people will there's a quote from that book that a lot of people use, and you've probably heard it. You've got to get the right people on the bus. Well, most folks will stop there, but that quote is actually longer. The quote is actually, you got to get the right people on the bus, the wrong people off the bus, and then the right people in the right seats. I find it hard to believe that there's not talent at the sheriff's office that you could find somebody to sit in the right seat. I mean, I really do. I'm sure that there needs to be some seat changing that goes on, but the fact that you would have to look outside the sheriff's office for that, I'm not a proponent of that. I mean, I think there's guys. Look, I know some of those guys that work there, and they're fine officers. They do a great job, and I guarantee you there's some that could fulfill that mission. There's no doubt.
Well, Wayne County is a big county, so how do you plan to get all across the county to campaign? I say that I don't think people realize how all these people that run these countywide campaigns, and they're exhausted by the time they campaign. I mean, it's a big county. There's a lot of people to see.
No, listen, that's the truth. You know, I run twice for the school board, and won both times, and literally it's a matter of picking your largest neighborhoods. Those are easy. You can pick your big neighborhoods, go park your vehicle, and I'd take my water in my backpack and I'd just start walking, going door to door. And I'd just walk. I'd cover the entire neighborhood, get in my truck, go to the next neighborhood. But then when you start talking about the rural aspects of the county, I mean, oh, wow. I mean, you know, you've got folks that are just stretched everywhere. So it is. It's a big job. And I think, you know, I haven't talked or I haven't heard from the probate court or anything when actual qualification is. I'm assuming just from past history, probably sometime around March maybe, and then, you know, the primary will be maybe around May or something. But so I kind of see the campaign really starting to heat up probably after the first of the year. So part of coming out now and between now and January 1 is just that. It's just going to see people. And I've already started doing that. And that's all you can do. You've got to put some shoe leather on the road and start going. If not, well, you're not going to get your message out.
Well, it's definitely going to be an interesting race, you know, a year from this November. Like I said, you and Chuck and John have already announced that you're running, so I'm sure there's more to come. But we appreciate you making the announcement here on the Butch and Bob Show. Once again, you might want to tell people who are tuning in who you are and what you're doing.
All right. Once again, I'm Paul Drawdy, and I'm running for candidate for sheriff of Wayne County in the 2020 election coming up. And I want to thank you guys. I mean, y'all do a great service. I mean, you know, I know y'all hear it all the time, but still, it's nice to have. You know, we appreciate the public, the record of, or public of record, or whatever they call it in reference to the newspaper. But to be able to tune in on a daily basis and get news from the radio station, that's a huge benefit for a county like Wayne County.
Okay.
We appreciate you coming in. We wish you the best. Like I said, like I told Chuck, and I'll tell you, I'm sure we'll see you many times between now and next November.
Oh, yeah.
Because the election's more than a year away.
That's
so
right.
It should be an interesting race.
It should. Thanks, Bob. Thank you.
Paul,
Butch.
thanks for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
Paul Drawdy, our special guest here on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. 14 minutes after 8 o'clock, WIFO FM in Jesup. More of the world-famous Butch and Bob Show in a moment. For the best car wash at the best price, then go to the new Nips Car Wash, located at 459 Highway 301 South, down from McDonald's in Jesup. Nips Car Wash features state-of-the-art IQ automatic car wash system. Every car or truck that enters the automatic IQ wash system is scanned to capture its unique vehicle profile to give you a great car wash every time. Nips Car Wash also features 2 self-service bays where you can choose from a variety of accessories such as foam brush, tire brush, bug off, wax, clear coat, and spot-free rinse with powerful blowers located in each bay to top off your car wash experience at an affordable price. For the best quality car wash around, go to the new Nips Car Wash, located down from McDonald's on the left on Highway 301 South in Jesup. That's Nips Car Wash with a state-of-the-art IQ automatic wash system on Highway 301 South down from McDonald's in Jesup. 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO, world-famous Butch and Bob Show. Very first day of July. And Bob is ashamed of that rain. Had to wash out Eugenia's Gyms and then Corky Sykes and Second Chance Band on Saturday down there in Scriven.
Yeah, Friday night they had a great cry for the gospel singing. That was a good event, but Saturday the rain just unfortunately came right there, right before that. I'm sure if they got the burnout competition or not, but it came shortly before that or after that, and everything else got washed out. But the fireworks show went on as scheduled. Another great fireworks show by the city of Scriven. So.
Right.
And my record is intact. I still haven't won any raffles, so qualified for all those raffles.
Sound like me, Bob.
Didn't win, but our congratulations to the winners. Again, they gave away a flat screen TV and all types of awards or prizes out there. So I think I got the award winners here, or the winners of the. Here it is. The giveaway is this. Altamont Federal Credit Union gave away a flat screen TV. Jeanette Bishkoff won that. Also a $50 Visa card from the Altamont Credit Union. Esther Jones won that. Gopher Southern Cooking gave away a smoker that was won by Rich Shefka, and a $50 gift certificate from Gopher's Restaurant went to Annie Vickers. So again, didn't cost anything to register for those prizes. So I'm 0 for 4 in Scriven.
You're 0 for 4. Well, I've been buying raffle tickets at all the events since 1992 when I moved back, and haven't won anything yet.
Didn't have to purchase anything. This was just free.
Just free.
It's free, yeah.
It's free.
Put your name on a piece of paper, put it in a box, and hope for the best. But it was a good time. I said the fireworks show was actually a tremendous crowd again. Streets are lined up everywhere you went, so tremendous crowd on hand. But unfortunately, the rain washed out the Second Chance Band performance and the Genius Gyms and Corky's Karate. So.
And it's not that, the thing about it is it wasn't that great a chance of rain for Saturday, but the chance that was there hit us.
Yeah, it poured down.
It poured. It poured.
We were playing golf Saturday at the country club, and we hit the 15th hole, and it just opened up.
The zipper opened up, and the water came down from the clouds, huh?
It rained for quite a while. So.
Yeah. As you mentioned, the Piranhas swim team, the Recreation All-Star swim team, is heading down to District today. Matter of fact, I got a text message early this morning from my son, Matt. My grandson and his oldest son, Maddox, is on the Piranha swim team, and they're heading down there for District. We wish them all the best down there today in Camden.
In Camden County, yep. So hopefully, like I said, we'll have all those people qualify for state on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show before they head to Tifton. And we'll have the 10 and under girls and 10 under boys state championship baseball, softball teams in here a week from today. And since it's holiday week, we did think it'd be a good week. A lot of people going out of town, so
yeah,
we just scheduled it for a week from today.
A week from today for who's coming in next week?
The 10 under girls state champions, 10 under boys state champion.
Okay, and when are the Piranhas are coming in?
They'll come in before they hit the state.
Before they hit the state.
Right.
Okay, so they won't be here next Monday. It'll be the Recreation All-Star teams of one state. Okay, the two. 10 and under girls and
10 under boys.
10 under boys, one state. Two more plaques out there on the fences out there at Bill Morris Park. And then sometime after that, right before the Piranhas go to the state meet, we'll have them on.
They normally come that Friday before they head out.
Friday before they go, which will probably be Friday week. Yeah. With July 4th being on a Thursday this year, a lot of folks are taking a 4-day holiday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and of course, and Sunday. We wish everybody the best. It's great that Scriven had the big fireworks there on Saturday night and it went off okay. Gives the opportunity for folks to go to other fireworks displays throughout the area on Thursday, July 4th, and then understand there's going to be one out at Lake Grace on Saturday. That's put on by a private individual out there who does that each year. So still more fireworks to be able to see and have some fun out there. Isn't that right?
Busy week, 4th of July. Go to Atlanta and watch the Braves and Phillies. They got a great fireworks show after that as well.
Oh, they have a tremendous fireworks show up there at the Braves game. And do go have a good time up there and watching the Braves play. Went 6-4 on the road trip, now back home Remember, we are your Atlanta Braves radio station for Southeast Georgia, WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup. You can listen to the Braves game here on the Big Dog, 105.5 FM. And if it's a weekday midday game, you can hear on our AM station, AM 1370 The Buzz, WLOP Fox Sports Radio. But most of the games are right here on 105.5 FM. See, all they're playing golf, having a good time on there on Saturday, Bob?
Good time. But it rained.
Well, that happens sometimes. And, of course, next year, July 4th, will be on a Saturday because next year is a leap year, so it'll jump ahead one day. It'll be 2 days next year. So July 4th will be on a Saturday. So actually the July 4th fireworks next year in Scriven will be on July 4th instead of the Saturday before. Just emphasize that. We got a text on it. It was probably from one of the officials down there in Scriven. So what's going on, Bob? You got a meeting tomorrow night, you said?
Yeah, city meets tomorrow night. County meeting was, I said they decided to meet next week due to the July 4th holiday, but the city has their meeting scheduled for tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, so I'll be on hand for that.
Okay. So the county commissioner said, it's a holiday week. Might as well just skip and come back next week, right?
I think several of them were headed out of town.
Yeah.
Weren't going to be there today, so.
Yeah, I've tried to get in contact with a few people this past week, and there's a lot of them taking either the week off or starting on Wednesday and going just enjoying the holiday weekend or week practically the entire week.
Buddy Carter's calling in Wednesday of this week. So
Buddy's calling in Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay, what's on Buddy's mind, Congressman Carter?
His press secretary called me and told me, but I can't remember.
Okay.
I was driving down the road when they called, so I want to know
Okay.
if Wednesday would be good. I said Wednesday be good. So
Wednesday, Congressman Carter calling in. Supposed to have Senator Johnny Isaacs on either last week or the week before, but something came up and his folks called and canceled it, and I guess they're going to reschedule it for the senator to be on. Hopefully he'll be on soon. Let's hope. We can see what his thoughts and feelings are. It'd be good to have him on soon to get his thoughts and feelings on the trip that President Trump just made to the G20 and meeting with the leader of China and the leader of North Korea. President Trump made history there. He actually stepped a few steps over into North Korea. First time a president's done that since the Korean conflicts happened back in 1950. We've had a sitting president actually step inside North Korea. Just a few steps, but he stepped in there. Yep, just a few steps.
you don't want to go too far with me. Never came back.
Yes, sirree. You don't know how many snipers on the South Korea side was protecting him.
We kept waiting to see Dennis Rodman, but he wasn't there this year.
No, Dennis wasn't there to be that go between, the mediator between Trump and the leader of North Korea. Yeah, where was Dennis? I mean, you think he'd have been there? I mean, he's North Korea's buddy.
Man, I've never seen so many millions of dollars thrown out yesterday. NBA free agency. I think they said over $1 billion contracts signed with all these players jumping from one team to another. So
wow,
it's unbelievable how much money is in the NBA.
The thing about it is they don't get that higher ratings nationwide when they're playing. Okay, but it's on the
bench and make millions of
dollars. I know, but it's the local stuff. Of course, it is the NBA contract with the different networks on television and radio, but they get so much from franchise fees and licensing fees, and of course the local market there. You know, you might not have a team that's big nationwide, but they're very big in their market, and they make a lot of money that way. But these owners would not be paying the money to these guys if they didn't think it was worth it.
Just glad I'm not a New York Knicks fan because they got to be sick because Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving both went to Brooklyn to play for the Nets instead of the Knicks.
Oh, jeez.
Knicks can't get anybody to come there for some reason. So
it's still hard to call them the Brooklyn Nets.
I'm surprised Kevin Durant left Golden State. I would have never left that team. But
well, you know, they've had their run there, and so now he wants to go to a greener pastures, I guess. Try something new. I mean, look what Shaq did. He went from Cleveland to Miami, back to Cleveland, now in L.A. You follow the money trail, Bob. Who's going to pay me the most?
But Shaq left because him and Kobe couldn't get it wrong. That's why he left. So, I mean, it wasn't like he wasn't getting along with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. I mean, they're winning championships. So,
All right.
I mean, just a head scratcher. I'd rather play with Steph Curry than Kyrie Irving, but that's just me.
Okay.
I was just surprised he left Golden State. I mean, Kawhi Leonard's still the big fish out there. He's the biggest player that hasn't announced where he's going. Lakers are trying to get him to come over there and play with LeBron and Anthony Davis.
That's who I meant, LeBron, Shaq, but LeBron. LeBron went from Cleveland to Miami, back to Cleveland, and then to L.A. LeBron did. Yeah, LeBron needs a couple of other good guys there with him. He can't carry the whole entire team on his back. He's got to have at least 2 more stars there with him for them to be a championship team. Seems like these days you got to have 3 superstars to win a championship.
They got Anthony Davis. They just need one more. But
One more.
Kawhi Leonard, a lot of people think he's going to L.A. Clippers, or Toronto wants to keep him because they won the championship this past year. But be interested to see what he decides to do. I know he asked for Magic to be in on the meeting, which was weird because Magic left.
I know.
Just a few weeks ago, but we'll see if Magic can get him to sign with the Lakers. So that'll be a big boost for the Lakers if they get Kawhi Leonard along with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. That'll be a tough combination to beat.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the question is, can they get him?
Well, I know the Laker fans have got to be just itching to get back to championship form again. And it's been quite a while for them, and they're kind of like the Cowboys. Cowboys, big name, been one of the best franchises ever. Been a long time since they won any type of championship. Still valued as the highest value team in America, even though they haven't. And the Lakers are the same thing. Still very popular nationwide, just hadn't won much in the last several years.
It's been a while since he made the playoffs, so
yeah,
we'll see how it plays out. But Kawhi Leonard, everybody waiting to see what he decides to do. Didn't make any decision yesterday, but everybody else did. Like I said, over $1 billion in contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Announced yesterday. It's crazy. Never seen.
I wonder if these players taking the fact that if you do play in California or if you do play in New York, your taxes are so much higher than if you play in a smaller market. You'd have to make at least a third more to be able to pay all those taxes. So I guess they consider that, because wherever you play, that is considered your hometown. And in New York, they have the New York taxes for the state. They have and then the New York city taxes. So you have an additional tax there in New York. I don't know if they do in L.A.
And I see Ronald Acuna Jr. is going to participate in the home run derby this year. That'll be fun. I'm surprised Freddie Freeman's not going to participate, but he's not doing it. But both he and Freeman are starting for the National League a week from Wednesday in Cleveland, so that'll be fun.
So we got 2 21, 22-year-old kids and a 29-year-old going to the All-Star game, right, from the Braves?
Yes. Sakura is a young pitcher going, so they got 3 people going. So, but they got 2 starters in the lineup. Like I said, Freddie Freeman will start at first, and Acuna starting in center field. So, but Acuna decided he's going to participate in a home run derby, which is always fun to watch. Okay. So that'll be fun.
So what kind of pitcher they get out there for the home run?
They pick their own.
They just pick their own?
They can pick their batting practice pitcher. Some people pick their fathers, brothers, whoever they want to pitch the.
Whoever they want, huh?
Whoever they want. They
can throw up the lobbers, huh? Right down the middle.
They pick the person to pitch to them.
Okay.
Which is, that's part of it. They got to throw it in there where it's able to hit it out of the park.
Got to get in the strike zone, get that home run. Where's the All-Star game being played this year? Cleveland, huh?
Yeah, Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay. Well, I'm sure that what did he just say?
He said, the mistake by the lake. Yeah.
The mistake by the lake. It is not. I don't know why Cleveland gets such a bad rap, but they do. Nationwide, even you watch these stand-up comics, they say Cleveland, people start laughing for some reason. I don't know.
You ever been to Cleveland?
No, I've never been to Cleveland.
Damn, you would notice.
All right, Bob, we'll stop bashing Cleveland here and end the show, all right? All right. Have a good day. World famous Butch and Bob Show brought to you by the Women's Health Center on Cherry Street at Broad Street in downtown Jesup, by Murphy Builder Supply located on Northeast Broad Street, and by a brand new sponsor, Nips Car Wash, located on Highway 301 South here in Jesup, just down past McDonald's on the left-hand side, owned and operated by Brian Nippon.
The world famous Butch and Bob Show.